Tonight on the Black Channel, the bad guys are more desperate than ever, and we are more focused than ever. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media. This is the Black Channel. I am the Black Authority, and you are listening live to the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. It's time to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, I gotta tell you, there's a whole lot going on. There are a lot of moving parts, and you have come to the headquarters of the new Black Media, where of course you will get your debriefing as only we can provide for you here. For those of you who may have been living under a rock for the last 48 hours and were not aware of it, a walking abomination, the dream of Margaret Sanger, Roe V Wade, which of course, as we all know, has been documented by many people, especially Tariq Nasheed did a very good job highlighting that as well. So that's a good thing for you to go look up as well. That the roots of Roe v. Wade, the roots of abortion, the roots of this practice go back all the way to eugenics and specifically of targeting black people, which is why abortion has always targeted black babies. You don't have schools in your neighborhood, but there's an abortion clinic within walking distance, and that is not by accident. The people who pretend to be your friends have always been about that, and it's really a question about who values black children, who values our lives, who values that, and whether or not you can get people on the inside to stop valuing themselves. So the Supreme Court has ruled that Roe v. Wade is not a constitutional right, and there's a lot of caterwauling out there, but we are not going to be deceived. We are not going to be deceived because we all have to understand here that right now, I want you to be aware, Joe Biden thinks he's going to make hay out of this. Joe Biden, who has found himself underwater in the most horrific ways possible here, his presidency is already pardon the expression, abortion, if you will. His presidency is already an abortion, and he's only 2 years in. It's going to be a long-ass 2 years to go, and it's not going very well for him. Right now, herpes is more popular than Joe Biden. Okay, if herpes was a political candidate, it would have a better chance of getting reelected than Joe Biden getting reelected. So that's how bad things are going for him. So he's been trying to latch on to anything and everything. If there's a school shooting, monkeypox, strep throat, anything he can, mismatched shoelaces, whatever he can grab onto. So here comes Roe v. Wade, and the Supreme Court's released the decision in the middle of the summer, long before you ever get a chance to vote on it in November, which means the steam is going to be well gone by then, but he is hoping against hope that there is something in there that he can use to shore himself up, because he damn sure needs it. I have a lot for us to cover here tonight, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Here's a soundbite from Joe Biden, and if you want to know what he thinks about it, this really just sums it up brilliantly, I think. This sums it up.
This fall, we must elect more senators and representatives who will codify women's right to choose into federal law once again. Elect more state leaders to protect this right at the local level. We need to restore the protections of Roe as law of the land. We need to elect officials who will do that.
Now, we don't have the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments of the Constitution of the United States protecting black people, and Joe Biden has fought those for 5 decades. We don't have those protections under the Constitution of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, and it very clearly spells out what our rights are supposed to be. And yet he's telling you that we need to codify around Roe v. Wade. So, of course, he's making it very clear. Hey, Roe v. Wade, need y'all, why don't you come on out and vote for me?
This fall, we must elect more senators and representatives who will codify women's right to choose into federal law once again.
How does Roe v. Wade help us to get help us to get reparations? How does Roe v. Wade empower us? Tell me the pathway to reparations that Roe v. Wade provides. Tell me, how do we get there? Oh, you can't, 'cause it don't. So once again, hey, vote for some irrelevant side issue that'll put him back in power to do nothing for you. And that's exactly the game that's going on right now. Put us in power so we can go ahead and do nothing for you. I pointed this out here before. He is in big damn trouble. He is in big damn trouble out there. It ain't looking good for the things that people actually care about. Remember, just last week I was telling you about this. Old Biden talking about, well, you know, the stuff that Americans really care about can't do nothing for you. Vote for me. And what he's finding out is, man, people don't want to hear that crap. They're not looking for that. And he's trying everything. He's throwing the damn kitchen sink here. People, we can keep this up all damn day if you want to. He's throwing the kitchen sink out there. Hey, if there's anybody I'm authorized to forgive their student loans, come vote for me. Anything and everything. We didn't ask for no damn student loans. We talked about reparations. The dismantling of the system of white supremacy. That's what we talked about. Well, anything and everything except that. But let me tell you what is really, really disgusting in all of this. What's really, really disgusting in all of this is what I found at the Black Channel for: follow the money. Because when you follow the money, what you're finding out is all the excuses that we get given. Everybody's got an excuse for what we're not given and what they can't do for us. And every time you turn around, somebody else is getting something. They're not giving them lip service. They're not telling them, well, you know, we really support you. They're not giving them a pat on the back. They're not giving them any, we'll give you some recognition. They coming and dropping dollars. They're coming and dropping dollars is what they're doing. They're dropping dollars. Case in point, New York City. And just in case you thought that was just at the local level, you take a look here. I posted up this story here earlier. The National Park Service in New York. The National Park Service announced that it will build the first visitor center dedicated to LGBTQ rights, located right next to the Stonewall Inn in New York City. Once again, Tariq Nasheed has done an excellent job of covering the story of Stonewall. He's done an excellent job of that, so there's no need for me to be redundant. But you can definitely go and check out his YouTube channel for those of you who haven't. He's covered this before about Stonewall and about the fact that that was actually racial, and it's one of those things that gets hijacked by the LGBT community for their benefit. Something that happens to black people, all of a sudden somebody gets to come in and hijack it. Well, there you go. There you go. It shouldn't be taken as a coincidence. This is all happening at the same damn time. We are the only, I've said this since day one, we are the only people with a legitimate, tangible grievance. And everybody else tries to bootstrap and piggyback themselves on our legitimate grievance to get their illegitimate whims focused on. And this white supremacist government is all too happy to be able to divert the conversation and change the subject. But just so you be aware, yeah, there's a hell of a whole lot going on in New York City. A whole bunch of folk are getting money in the millions and tens of millions, really getting thrown around all over the damn place. Yeah, a whole bunch of money is moving out there. A whole bunch of money. Now, when we show up, well, they tell us, ain't got nothing. Sorry, we broke. They plead poverty when we show up. When we tell them, hey, you know, you do owe us too, all of a sudden they start pleading poverty. All of a sudden they start pleading poverty. But only when we show up. Then they start telling you start whining and complaining, crying about what they can't do. There are a whole lot of reasons why this is absolutely disgusting. Probably the biggest reason is right here. Man, let me tell y'all, this right here, boy, there are some things that need a whole lot of explanation. Then there are some things that are so absolutely egregious, they kind of just speak for themselves. And this is really the quintessential example of that. It really is. These are companies that are volunteering. They're not required by law. I want you all to understand something. The LGBT agenda of grooming children, that's not something coming from the government. That's coming from white supremacy's economic foundation. That's coming from your so-called corporate sector. The white supremacist economy is saying, hey, we need to focus on grooming your kids and targeting your kids. We need to focus on that. That's not even the government. These are the corporations which effectively run the government. And these are companies who are volunteered. They said, we are volunteering. Let me go ahead and blow this up a little bit. They're volunteering to reimburse employees if they live in a state or if they need to travel for an abortion. They are, in some cases, they haven't actually done it, but they're pledging, hey, we agree with it. So some of them might be virtue signaling in the short term, but these are companies saying, oh, we'll help subsidize it. We'll help subsidize it. Let me go over a few names for you here. Alaska Airlines. So let me get this straight. You can't lower airfare. Alaska Airlines is so flush with money that they can pay for flight attendants to go off and put their kids their babies in a blender. The money is that good over there at Alaska Air. Alaska Air, things are going so well for them that they got an extra $3,000-$4,000 to give. Now, are they going to give people a pay raise? Hell to the no. But by the way, Alaska Airlines, things are going so great over there. Yeah, they can help pay for abortions. Alloy, not really sure what that is. Amalgamated Bank. Okay, things are going so great at Amalgamated Bank, they can afford to do that. Amazon that fights unions. They fight unionization. They fight people trying to go for collective bargaining. Now, collective abortions, Amazon has no problem paying for that. Collective abortions. Now, the wages and having representation when them gals come back from the abortion clinic, where Dr. Zhivago is going to be sitting there cutting on them. Well, can't help you after that, but if you want to get rid of the babies, no problem there. Airbnb. Apple. Well, then you take a look at who's the CEO of Apple. He's like, yeah, y'all got me feeling left out. Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City. Bumble, that's that dating app run by that British woman. You got a bunch of chicks over there who are just side chicks and getting passed over. I guess she figures it's now or never. Citigroup. Okay, so if y'all got money like this, you all can give me a couple of extra percentage points and cash back rewards. You think, since you just got money to throw around like this? And the list goes on. Dick's Sporting Goods, Disney, which is the biggest corporate conglomerate of grooming minors for the purposes of being taken advantage of by LGBT activists and operatives and sexual deviants. Disney right now just made it basically their corporate mantra. We came to put our hands on your kids. GoDaddy, the internet domain registrar. Gucci, Negroes always piled up at Gucci. Hewlett Packard, Levi Strauss, Lyft. Boy, this gives a whole new meaning to, do you need a ride? They want to pay for you to go travel to get an abortion? What are they going to give? Free rides and Lyft? I don't know. Match Group, I guess that's Match.com. Microsoft, Bill Gates, who never saw a population reducing policy that he didn't like. Bill Gates, who never saw a population reducing strategy that he didn't like. From abortion to vaccines, he never saw anything that would lower the population that he wasn't in full favor of. Never seen it, boy, just whatever. He's like, does it get rid of folk? Yep, I'm for it. You need a million? Need 4 million. I got you covered. Salesforce. Starbucks, let me tell you, boy, you basically have to be part of the S&M community to work for Starbucks. You really just have to be. Tesla, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is offering to help your daughters out. Yelp. I'm not going to give that a 5-star review. And Uber, which I covered last week, that, Uber, last week or 2 weeks ago, Uber, who, is, they've just gone full S&M over there. Literally. They've gone full S&M and targeting your children and everything. Now, let's be very, very clear about a couple of things here, folks. Aren't these corporations supposed to be obsessed with cost cutting? Aren't these the same corporations that tell, us as their employees what they can't do for us? That they have to save money. They're always bragging to shareholders about how they're not spending money on things and they're fighting unionization left, right, and center. And you got to drag a pay raise out of them and threaten them with bodily harm to get anything. And yet for abortion, they pony up to the bar. So let me get this straight. When it comes to health benefits, can't help you. Can't help you with health benefits. But if you need an abortion, drop a 10, come on in. Aren't these corporations always running around on CNBC and other places bragging about how they're cutting costs? How to their shareholders, oh, we're always cutting costs. We send jobs to China because we want to cut costs. Aren't these companies always trying to block pay raises? That's why they outsource all over the damn place. They're always trying to block pay raises, remember? So they won't increase your income, but they'll toss you a few bucks for a Greyhound ticket if you need to get an abortion. Really? Really? Hey, what if the only place she can get an abortion is Hawaii? I mean, what if she decides to get an abortion in Hawaii? Think about this for a few moments, folks. What if she decides to get an abortion in Hawaii? Are the companies going to pay for her to travel to Hawaii to get an abortion? She can sit there in Maui with her legs up in the air in front of the beach watching the sunset while Dr. Kevorkian cuts off the bloodline. Boy, you didn't think your Amazon Prime subscription was going for that, now did you? Now, if you asked for a legitimate vacation to Hawaii, they'd be like, I can't do it. I need to get an abortion. Where at? In Maui. Okay, I think we can swing that. I want you all to think about this for a few moments. These will be the same companies telling you and me what they can't do. These will be the same folks telling you and me what they can't do. These will be the same companies telling us about they can't give reparations, and most of them owe it. These are the same ones saying that. Same ones. And on your screen, there might have been some names that I didn't mention: Netflix, JP Morgan Chase. So like I say, the list has kind of been evolving as it goes along here. But I mean, Paramount, the list is kind of evolving as we go along, but it gives you some idea. Do you understand how screwball this is? Do you understand how screwball this is? When we show up, they tell us there's no money. When we show up, we ain't got them for abortions. For reparations, we don't even get support from it. These same companies do not support reparations, nor half the time they're all getting sued behind some racial discrimination case or another. Shout out Tesla. Shout out Amazon. Shout out Microsoft. Shout out Citibank. Every time you turn around, these companies are being sued for some sort of racist action. Every time you turn around. Now, they haven't made things right with that, but they got plenty of money saved up here. Hey, you need a couple of abortions? We can spot you on there right there. Sure can. This is why don't let anybody tell you what they don't have. They got plenty of... These companies and these government agencies are flush with cash. Understand something. After the pandemic, everybody who tried to tell us the government can't afford reparations, they got shut down in a single week. And since then, none of them have been able to open their mouths. That's why we have to keep repeating this, that the government was able to find trillions of dollars on the fly out of nowhere when the pandemic kicked off. Don't tell us what the government doesn't have and cannot do, because they did it then. So where are you going to find our reparations? Where you found that money for the pandemic, where you found that money to fund all these specious vaccines, where you found that. Go to the same place you got that from. Go there. Go. You got the money for that. You left my change over there too. I need you to run back over there real quick and go grab that. I need you to go run back over there real quick and go grab that. I got to have it. You got to get back over there and go grab it. Another thing here, by the way, you notice that the kiss ass suck butt folk aren't sitting up here talking about, well, if you Well, the folks talking about, well, if you give them reparations, they might not spend it right. You don't see any of them sitting up here jumping on these corporations saying, well, if you pay for abortions, they won't spend the money right now. They won't spend it responsibly. Now, you're giving them a blank check. They ain't going to use this right responsibly. You shouldn't do that right there now. The same folks who want to sit up here and pocket watch us and say, well, you're not really responsible enough to know what to do with the money for reparations if we just cut you a blank check. And then these corporations and government agencies want to cut folk a blank check and all. Well, I mean, it one thing right there. Just understand, it always becomes a different conversation when it involves us. It only becomes a different conversation when it involves us. When we show up, all of a sudden, the whole damn conversation starts changing. Nobody fights cutting the check. Nobody fights giving the benefits. Nobody comes up with these stupid ass arguments until we show up. Once we show up, then everything turns into damn me, Alice in Wonderland, and looking through the looking glass and all kinds of crazy talk. The same folks, they was throwing out money and checks and everything else right up until your black ass showed up and walked to the front and said, yeah, need you to drop mine. All of a sudden, we just ran out, man. Oh boy, my damn money counter just ran out here. Who are you again? What do we owe you for? Ain't very sure about that. Think we need to study. Go and call a commission. Don't worry. Don't call us. We'll call you. We'll write you back. As soon as you get out the way. LGBT. Okay, here your check is. We got you. We got you. We got you. So just recognize what you're looking at here. The same folks are going to tell you what they don't have and can't do. The same folks are going to tell you what they don't have and can't do. And that's the game that they're always playing. So they think that we're supposed to show up and vote in November because we're here to tell you what to do. We're here to tell you what to do in November. And by the way, no discussion about stupidity trying to influence the black vote would be complete without the world's leading mascot. Oh, you didn't think I was gonna let you go, did you? You milk dud built bastard. You didn't think I was gonna let you off the hook, did you, Bowling Ball Martin? Oh no! Been waiting for you to show up in my neck of the woods too, dude. Been waiting for you to show up in my neck of the woods. I've been counting the time. You say you watching election day, nigga. I'm watching it too. Been waiting for you to pull up. I've been waiting for you to pull up. Dude, you done wasted 3 whole tanks of gas. And right now it's costing me $110 to fill up that Tahoe. It's costing me $110 a tank. You gonna have to break it off when I see you. When I see you rolling, you gonna have to give me reparations too. You got me running back and forth coast to coast. When I roll up on you, I'm gonna expect you to drop it. I'm gonna expect you to drop it. You owe reparations too, Roland. Got to have it. Got to have it. Well, in any case, old Bowling Ball Martin, boy, I'm telling you, he's doing his best to try to support something. He doesn't even know what the hell planet he's on. He really, really doesn't. Here's one sound bite from everybody's favorite Eminem built dude.
Earlier today, Eric Erickson issued this tweet here. Eric is a white evangelical conservative out of Georgia, used to be redstate.com. We, of course, were counterparts on CNN. He posted this. He said, and now the real work of the pro-life movement can begin. My response was, y'all are not pro-life, Eric Erickson. Your movement is anti-abortion. The GOP doesn't give a shit about the high death rates black women face during pregnancy. As I told Ben Watson for his doc, y'all don't care about infant mortality rates or unarmed black folks shot by cops.
Roland don't give a damn about those either. He was literally sitting up there buck dancing with Hillary Clinton. Roland Martin was literally up there buck dancing with Hillary Clinton and got the nerve to talk about who cares about dead black folk getting killed by police. While he was literally sitting up there cutting the jig, grinning from ear to ear. Sitting right there in front of Hillary Clinton, boy, I'm talking about busting the jig like Showtime at the Apollo. So no, Bowling Ball Martin don't care about that either.
I meant every single word of that. And my man Ben actually responded to that. And Ben Watson is a former NFL player. He's pro-life. He did a documentary on this issue. He actually interviewed me for that documentary. And I just want to play y'all.
Now, just understand, when these dudes get together, what they try to do, because you have to understand, black people don't support abortion. We don't support abortion because we are a common sense people. You're not going to tell us that, you're not going to just get into a stupid discussion about when life begins. That's basic biology. That's basic science. That's basic science. But these other folk who kowtow and belong to these democratic organizations and they've been politically bought off, they're the ones who do that. And by the way, have you always noticed there's always some Negro that ain't nobody trying to get pregnant by, trying to sit up here and tell you about abortion? Roland, no, nobody is lined up to have your baby, not even Tarana Burke. Oh, could you all imagine a baby between Roland Martin and Tarana Burke? Oh, could you imagine what that kid would look like? Oh, man. I'm trying to get that visual in my head right now. A baby, a cross between Roland and Tarana Burke. Maybe I'm going to have you all submit submissions of what you think the kid would look like on Twitter or something there. Could you imagine them two getting crossed up genetically? Man. Chills down my spine. Okay, Roland had some other comments, by the way, too. He had a panel of females up there that ain't nobody trying to get with. That's the best he can find. And needless to say, they want to, a bunch of chicks that nobody's trying to get pregnant wanted to weigh in on Roe V Wade, because that's the best Roland could do. And here were his comments about that.
And I'm looking at this tweet here from Ronald Brownstein, of course, who is a journalist with The Atlantic. He actually he says this here: the growing sense among D activists is that the party's leaders aren't fully facing the challenge. The November-centric thinking and business as usual approach of the D party's septuagenarian and octogenarian leaders who have seemingly little to say about the crisis facing the party. That really is what we're looking at right here, Kelly, because at the end of the day, to respond to this decision, it is going to require a robust response from Democratic leaders. And yes, you've seen tweets and videos today, but this is one of those moments that they're going to have to figure out: how do you marshal the forces? How do you reach those voters? How do you talk to those young voters? How do you rebuild an Obama coalition? Because they are facing a significant red wave in November that can only be stopped if you have maximum turnout.
So here Roland is saying that Roe v. Wade is the reason that black folk need to show up in significant numbers on election day this year. Roe v. Wade is the reason, not reparations, not black empowerment, nothing like that. Roe v. Wade. So this is more of that anchor baby babble. More of that anchor baby babble. That's the point I'm trying to make to you here. More of that. And it shouldn't be surprising. It shouldn't be surprising because, like I say, that's what you get when you're dealing with the corporate media. And speaking of dealing with the corporate media here, like I say, there's some other things I wanted to touch on here as well. Saw an article. There was an article here from back on June 4th that when it first leaked that there was going to be a decision by the Supreme Court. That looked like there was going to be a decision that would overturn Roe v. Wade. So there was an article, and this is back on June 4th, so a couple of weeks ago here, and 3 weeks ago to the day. And they were talking, the headline of the article: black leaders aren't surprised Roe is at risk, but they're prepared for the aftermath. The draft Supreme Court opinion leaked last month follows years-long rollback of abortion access at the state level. Now, I want you all to stick with me here for a few moments because I want to read some parts of this. Stick with me for a few moments because I want to read some parts of this, okay? I want to read some parts with this. In interviews with NBC, Howell and other black leaders said, and she was talking about Marcella Howell, the founder and executive director of the National Reproductive Justice Advocacy Group in Washington, D.C. Never heard of you. But anyway, in interviews with NBC, Howell and other black leaders, how are you the head of an abortion group and that makes you a black leader? What the hell? She said they weren't surprised by the draft opinion because they had been anticipating it for years as a result of continuing abortion rights rollbacks across the country. In 2021 alone, states enacted more than 100 abortion restrictions, according to the Guttmacher Institute, which studies and promotes reproductive rights. But leaders are still preparing for how to deal with the aftermath. I thought she said now the headline said, but they're prepared for the aftermath. You go down in the article, it says leaders are still preparing for how to deal with the aftermath. So needless to say, she got her degree in writing from BuzzFeed. In any case, quote, none of this is different. This has been happening forever, said Linda Goler Blunt, president and CEO of the Black Women's Health Imperative. It's in the news, perhaps in a different way, but there's nothing new about this. Howell said that low-income people in particular faced hurdles for years because the Hyde Amendment prohibits federal funds from being used to cover most abortions. Poor women aren't able to use Medicaid to pay for the cost of treatment. Quote, there are all these kinds of barriers that have been set in front of women of low income, which are predominantly women of color, and those barriers have been there, Howell said, so Roe has always been the floor, not the ceiling. But Roe's demise means that 23 states would ban almost all abortions immediately, with trigger laws in 13 of them forcing women to travel out of state to obtain abortion services. Now listen to the next paragraph here. In response to the leaked draft, and remember, this was back on June 4th, 3 weeks ago, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced the Justice for All pledge, $500,000 to help residents and people seeking abortions in neighboring states, quote, that have or ultimately will ban abortion if the Supreme Court decides to strike down Roe v. Wade, as outlined in the leaked decision. So, Uncle Thunderbird Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, she set up here and put aside at least $500,000 for folks who ain't even from the state. And think about that. So you got black folk who need investment. They're putting tens of billions of dollars of investment on the north side of Chicago. Lincoln Yards, for those of you who want to look it up, among other developments, by the way. Whole bunch of money being dumped in Chicago. And the mayor of Chicago is giving money for every damn thing except black folk there. Every damn thing except black folk. Think about that for a few moments. Every damn thing except black people. Now, how in the hell can you sit up here and do an article like this and then overlook that? How in the hell can you do an article like this and then overlook it? And that's when I said to myself, well, I don't know. Because I'm wondering a few things here. And by the way, I couldn't help but notice something. Because I took a look at the article there, Miss Janelle Griffith. Let me go take a look and see. Miss Janelle Griffith. Well, there's Miss Janelle Griffith. Miss Janelle Griffith, she looks a little strange. What in the hell is that going on top of her head? I don't know. She looks a little strange, but all right, Miss Janelle Griffith, you're saying some weird things. You're not really sticking up for the right stuff here. I'm kind of wondering a couple of things here. Went to her Twitter page. Oh, damn. Oh, boy. Now, why is it I'm not terribly surprised to see that? Now, why is it that I knew that was coming? How is it I knew that was coming? How is it I knew that was coming? How is it that every time we turn around, we keep seeing that same familiar treasonous energy? How is it every time we turn around, we keep seeing the same thing? So, needless to say, that's what it takes for you to get a job at these corporate outfits. That's what it takes for you to get a job at these corporate outfits, and all of them are on code. They are on code. everywhere. You do realize the black population in America should be twice what it is. They brought over a bunch of Latinos from Mexico. They've allowed their population to explode, but they've done everything humanly possible to convince black people to reduce our population numbers. Then they'll turn around and tell you, well, the illegals from Mexico are the only ones, quote unquote, who'll do that work, which is a lie. But they are bringing them over here by the truckload, the busload, the plane load. Meanwhile, they're keeping black folk out, and they're taking out black children in the womb before they can even have a chance to be born. But they're not doing other groups that way. They're not targeting other groups that way. And when you have individuals who come from cultures and come from backstabbing cultures and cultures that have submitted to white supremacy, then these corporations know who to hire. And by the way, I forgot, not on this list is Comcast. Not on this list right here. Comcast is one of the companies that's come out and said they'll pay for you to go get an abortion. They'll pay for you to travel to get an abortion. Comcast has done that. Oh yeah, by the way, who's the parent company of NBC? By the way, who is the parent company of NBC? Who Janelle Griffith wrote this article for. Who's the parent company of NBC? Oh, yeah, Comcast. Oh, yeah, Comcast is the parent company. Yeah. Folks, I didn't bring receipts. I brought invoices. I didn't bring receipts. I brought invoices. I didn't tell you what you paid. I'm telling you what you owe. I'm telling you what you owe. So you just understand right now, we're not even dealing with degrees of separation. We are just dealing with direct puppets now. We're just dealing with direct puppets now. Just direct puppets. That is it. That is all. That's it. And all of them have their targets on black babies. All of them have their targets on black children, and they just want you to go along with the program. That's all they want you to do. No money for reparations, no money to stop discriminating against black folk online. Do you all realize that this YouTube channel should be 20 times larger than it is? But because we are directly shadow banned by YouTube and Twitter, by the way, on Twitter's website, I can't even see the people when I use Twitter Space, I can't even see the people who have their hands raised. There were literally 24 people who had their hands raised to talk to me on Twitter Space. I could only see 2 of them. I couldn't even see the people if I attempted to go to their web pages manually. It wouldn't show them to me. That's the reason I had to get a co-host, because her and everybody else could see all the people whose hands were raised. I'm the person hosting the Twitter Space, and I couldn't see any of you. I still can't see you now. If there's 24 people with their hands raised, I'll only be able to see 2 or 3 of you. Meanwhile, there'll be 2 or 3 dozen people with their hands raised, and it won't show me. So this isn't just confined to YouTube or Facebook or one place right there. They're targeting black people who are not going to sit up here and shuck and jive and play games. We should be multiples more than we are. Especially after a decade, we should be multiples more. How in the hell is it that Roland Martin is violating every rule of content that they have on YouTube, and yet they've helped to boost his channel, even though his numbers are outrageously inflated and phony? We all get that. It's not even real. But the point is, they've done their damnedest to try to promote that. And they've done everything in their power to try to suppress us. Now, when they don't suppress the channel, people get on board. They start signing up by the thousands. Whenever we have an opportunity to get around that, when people actually have the ability to vote and to cast their ballot for us, they start following us and the numbers go up. It's only when they start suppressing us that the numbers go down. So when people actually have a fair opportunity to choose, they're like, damn, we like the way these guys do things. We want to hear more about that. We want reliable, insightful, accurate information. And that's the whole reason that they suppress us. So what I'm saying is all these entities, yeah, you all owe reparations for that, because there wouldn't be a Joe Rogan if YouTube was not promoting them. There wouldn't be a Joe Rogan if Apple and Amazon and all these Silicon Valley outfits and whatnot were not promoting white folk like that. There wouldn't be that thing. If we were actually getting what we're supposed to be getting, we'd be multiple times larger. These other folk never would have had a chance to breathe. They never would have had a chance to breathe. So recognize what the real issue is. A whole bunch of folks out there, we're supposed to be having a whole lot more than we got right now. We're supposed to be having a whole lot more than this. And they tell you that we need to show up in November. We don't need to do a damn thing in November. If reparations ain't on the ballot, we don't need to show up for nothing. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say that Roe v. Wade does not matter, because black babies will always matter. But supporting Roe v. Wade? No, that's not our fight. Our fight is not supporting Roe v. Wade. To hell with Roe v. Wade. That's not our fight. That's not our fight, and you're not going to do some Jedi mind trick and try to convince us that it is. That's not our fight. That has nothing to do with us. Matter of fact, that's everything against us. In the words of Malcolm X, I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of happy when chickens come home to roost. I'm kind of happy. Hell, I'm kind of happy when the children come home. I'm happy to see that. That's the kind of thing I always want to see. Always. Now, I've got some other things here. Now that I've given you the political side of it, I want to do something I don't normally do. I want to give up the personal side of it here. Now that we talked about the politics involved and that Biden is hoping that he can pull out a Hail Mary with Roe v. Wade, spoiler alert, it ain't gonna work. If Biden thinks that Roe v. Wade is going to shield the world from the high price of gas, the high price of food, the high price of rent, the outrageous price of housing, and the low ascension of wages, if he thinks that's going to cover his ass, spoiler alert, it's not going to work that way. So anybody who thought this was going to be different, by the way, I hate to tell you, spoiler alert. But in any case, we've dealt with the politics of this. Now we're going to deal with being on code. First, we were on politics. Next, we're going to talk about being on code. So we're going to go ahead and deal with that next. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program here on PayPal or Cash App. So big shout out to Black Boy Logic. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. Miss Cordelia, thank you very much as well. B1 Media is a lifesaver. I appreciate your support there. Mark B, Andrew L, Mr. Richburg, and everybody else, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break, and when I come back, we've discussed being on politics. Next, we're going to discuss being on code. This is The Black Channel.
Hey, I'm Marcus. For a while, I walked around with this empty feeling inside. I had a full-time job, but not in the field I wanted to be in. But then I came across this book where it was like, the title was just for me. Guide to Being Black in IT. I read the book and the author took me through scenarios and gave me tips. I sat down and read it and it only took an hour. After I got done, I took advice in the book, practiced in the labs, and got certified. Then I literally got up and applied for a position with this company I've been looking at for a while and got the job. Thanks to that book, I worked my job with confidence. If you're looking to get into IT or even in the field, now this is a must-read book. Go to www.beingblackinit.com.
I am black first. I am empowered. I am on code. I am motivated. I am a proud foundational. My name is Maria Sellers, and nothing will come between us. Buy the sci-fi novel, Nothing Will Come Between Us. Order today at Amazon and Google Play. Visit spiritofo1811publishing.com. Our story, our family.
Join 6zeros.net, a forum built to discuss all things relevant to Black people. On our forum, a check doesn't mean you're famous. It means your Blackness has been verified by our staff.
Sorry, Chad.
We also have premium merchandise with same-day shipping on most orders. And when you're ready for some dope content, check out the 0 Hour blog.
Don't just sign up, post.
I'm having a really good time with you tonight.
I'm having a good time with you too.
Want to go somewhere private? Just for us?
I like that.
Great. Meet me at 6zeros.net. Black owned, Black operated.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
Are you tired of being overcharged and forced into paying a monthly subscription for your Mac and Windows software? Well, if you are, currently we're having a 50% off discount on all the latest Mac and Windows software, such as AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Photoshop, Microsoft Office, and much more. Our 50% off discount will be ending soon, so be sure to text us NEED SOFTWARE to 323-407-8214. That's 323-407-8214. We aim to please, so expect 24/7 technical support, the latest premium software, instant software links delivered to your email, and PayPal's buyer's protection guarantee.
When you need a reliable influx of capital to grow your business, Spectre Capital Finance provides fast, individualized working capital loans with lines of credit to take your business to the next level. SpectreCapitalFinance.com.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we've been discussing a good number of things here in relation to the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade and how unscrupulous individuals like Joe Biden think that because their political fortunes have gone downhill because of their lack of support for Black people and a Black empowerment agenda, they think that now they're going to say, well, we ain't going to give you no reparations, but don't you need to keep your abortions? Yeah. And what I want you to take a look at is when we discuss being on code, there's something you got to keep in mind here, that snakes don't change their spots either, by the way, for the ones that have spots, for the ones that have lines. They don't change theirs either, by the way. And there's some things that we need to keep in mind in this regard. You need to keep in mind some of the people that we deal with and that we see. You need to keep in mind some of the folk who show up when these kind of things happen. Because you see, a lot of folks will talk about, Joe Biden, and of course we should talk about that. He thinks that this is going to give him political cover that'll hopefully improve his fortunes in the midterms. It won't. But then you see him trotting out other names, and when you start seeing the company that you're keeping, that's the kind of thing that's supposed to get your attention. That's the kind of thing that's supposed to get your attention. This anti-black, self-hating, deviant fiend, Alice Walker, who created the anti-black male manifesto, The Color Purple, that Hollywood loved because it gave them their way of using a black front person and crash dummy to go after the warrior class in black society and to try to recruit as many imbalanced, emotionally disturbed, and broken individuals as they could to join them, and then call it entertainment. You know, they never did talk to Alex Haley like that, if you'll all remember. They never really wanted to talk to Alex Haley like that. They never wanted to talk to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing like that. But you keep seeing them talk to crazies and deviants like Alice Walker. And by the way, let me tell you right now, if getting pregnant makes you decide that you want to kill yourself, we'll keep the baby, because you obviously have some severe emotional issues and you're not safe to be around. You are a danger to yourself and everyone else. You're not safe to be around. You're not safe to be around. So if you find yourself on the same side of the street as Alice Walker, you need to start re-examining the side of the street that you're on. You need to start re-examining that. Talking about being on code here and where you find yourself when you back certain people. And when you take a look at the Black Vote, Black Voters Matter, the Black Voters Matter Fund, when you go to their website, you can see that that's up there. And that's started by a chick named Latasha Brown, Latosha Brown. Latasha Brown. And when you go to Latasha's Twitter page, well, she's had a few choice things here about Roe v. Wade, including this post right here. She retweeted one from Michelangelo Signorilli. I'm pretty sure the G is silent, but in any case, Michelangelo here, by the way, ruling is almost identical to the draft ruling. This is a full-out assault on our lives and bodies. Begin the fight. Very interesting. Very glad to hear that. The Black Lives Matter Fund, the Black Voters Matter Fund retweeted this guy. So the first thing I'm like is, okay, what is this dude about here? And by the way, over there on the right, couldn't help but notice the flag over there on the right. Couldn't help but notice the flag over there on the right. Couldn't help but notice it. So, dude, what's your interest here? And why is she retweeting you, of all people? Why is she retweeting you? Then you go down here and read what he has to say. Roe v. Wade is dead. Supreme Court of the United States just ruled. Roberts joining Alito in the gang of authoritarians. Talk about overstating something. Getting pulled over by the police in the middle of the night because you're black, that's authoritarianism. Not laying up with the wrong dude and deciding that if you get the baby to lock him down, that's not authoritarianism. Sir, you need a dictionary. And some Prozac. Better yet, some Zoloft. A constitutional right has been stripped for the first time by an authoritarian court constituted by an authoritarian president. Excuse me, Sir Dred Scott. So once again, don't let people sit up here and play the damn bait and switch on you. Dred Scott, anybody? Brown versus Board of Education, you wouldn't have needed that if our constitutional rights were already being upheld. So don't let anybody sit up here and try to overshadow what the real issue is. The real issue is always black people, nothing else. He goes on to say, a court acting against the vast majority of Americans, untrue. We must punish the GOP at the polls this fall. They must suffer defeat. Wow, that turned real quick now, didn't it? That turned real fast now, didn't it? Right now, immediately, millions of people will lose the right to an abortion in many states. The Christian nationals will then move to ban abortion in states where it's legal, and the Supreme Court will rule in their favor eventually. If they believe abortion is murder, why would they leave it to the states? Allow blue states to continue to provide abortion. They won't. They will move to ban abortion in the blue states everywhere, controlling people's bodies. A Christian nationalist dictatorship. And then, now take a look at the turn here. And then they will move on to marriage equality. The Alito decision is identical to the Alito leaked draft that laid out the blueprint for overturning marriage equality, contraception, and much else. They will send same-sex marriage back to the states. Don't pay attention to those who say, oh, too many people are gay married, blah, blah, can't happen. It will happen. They will send it back to the states. And then they will move on to sodomy laws and send those back to the states. So, boy, he started by talking about abortion. This got real creepy real damn fast. Yeah, Miss Latasha, you got a lot of explaining to do here, Latasha. You have a lot of is this your man? I'm talking about being on code right now. By the way, did y'all see he sure did flip the hell out real quick? We started out by talking about abortion. He switched over to the LGBT thing and hasn't let his foot off the gas yet. Boy, I mean, he's just going into every, pardon the expression, nook and cranny. I mean, boy, he's really obsessed about this part, isn't he? I mean, he is unapologetically obsessed. So he said, and then they will move on to the sodomy laws and send those back to the states. This ruling not only overturns Roe, it overturns Casey. We will see enforced sodomy bans again in America, a war on homosexuality. And here is Thomas making it all clear. Now, I got to tell you something else. Like the rest of you, you've noticed that there's been a contingent of your so-called liberals online. They've been slinging the N-word about Clarence Thomas. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with abortion. That shows you that right beneath the surface of a liberal is a white supremacist. That as long as you're doing what they want you to do and you're a helpless puppet, you're fine. And you know that I am no friend of Clarence Thomas. Not now, not ever. But I recognize when you're slinging that kind of hostility. I was not a big backer of Bill Cosby either, but I recognize injustice and anti-black racism when I see it. And what they are exercising now, all of a sudden, is about Clarence Thomas. You would think that Clarence Thomas was the only person on the damn Supreme Court, the way they keep talking about him. And so now they pulled out the racial epithets and every damn thing else. And you don't see CNN going on the stump about that. Okay, we talked about Roe V Wade. What about these folks out here calling folks nigger because of their stance on abortion? What the hell does that have to do with anything? These are white folk doing that. Just like we saw in California. So much for your damn LGBT coalition. Remember in California, the gays were doing the same thing to black folk in California when the white media told you, oh, everybody in California supports gay marriage, and then it was actually put to a vote and gay marriage got put down. You notice the white media doesn't say that anymore because when there was actually a vote, it got shut down. But remember, they were blaming black folk in California. Remember Proposition 8? They were blaming black people for Proposition 8 in California. And they were calling us all kinds of epithets and names there too. It sounded like a Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight with him winning. It sounded like that in so-called liberal California. So these would be the same LGBT white supremacists out here saying the same mess. Now, he goes on about Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, in concurring opinion, says Supreme Court should reconsider Lawrence versus Texas. That's sodomy bans. Let it sink in. Sir, you shouldn't use the word sodomy and sink in. Just pro tip. They're moving to ban sexual behavior in your home and what you can do and who you can do it with. A full-on assault on everyone, not just LGBTQ. This fellow went from talking about abortion to talking about damn me science fiction. That's where we're at now. He skewed off the raceway from talking about abortion. Now he's off in Star Trek. I mean, he's way outside the neutral zone. But this will be the same guy who will tell you that if you don't let him rub on you, that you're transphobic and you should be arrested. Just understand, this will be the same guy who will tell you that if you don't go on a date with a biological male who now calls himself a trans female, if you don't go on a date with them, that you're transphobic and you should be arrested. That should be a hate crime. This is the same type of person who would endorse that. Same type of person, and this guy is legitimate and good enough for LaTosha Brown. So notice where you're finding yourself on the same side of the street. You're finding yourself on the same side of the street with those individuals. Now that should be something that tells you when you're finding yourself on the same side of the street as these very shady folks here, you're supposed to catch a clue. You're supposed to catch a clue. I'd like to share with you one more thing here, and I'm going to discuss being on code. I'd like to share with you one more thing here. There was an article from a writer on BuzzFeed, Kaylee Yandali, and I want to share this with you. Female celebrities described what actually happens when getting an abortion, and their stories are very important. And I want to go down the list here so you can see that this is their article now. This is their article, and I want you to see what was said in what the quotes that they pulled in their article. I don't know who Jamila Jamil is, but whoever you are, okay. Phoebe Bridgers, I never heard of you either. Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, I know this is going to be very unsavory to talk about Whoopi Goldberg's reproductive activities. So I'm asking for you all's forgiveness in advance for doing this. So I ask for your forgiveness in advance. I know this is going to be very unsavory. You don't deserve this. You did nothing to deserve me doing this to you. But yeah. Whoopi said, I found out I was pregnant when I was 14 years old. I didn't get a period. I talked to nobody. I panicked. I sat in hot baths. I drank these strange concoctions girls told me about. Something like Johnny Walker Red and a little bit of Clorox. Now, first of all, this doesn't even sound real, but she was 14 years old and pregnant, 14 years old with access to hard liquor. Johnny Walker, and I'm pretty sure that I don't drink, but I'm pretty sure that's a hard liquor. I recognize the name. And who in the hell thinks drinking Clorox is safe? Alcohol, baking soda, which probably saved my stomach, and some sort of cream. You mixed it all up. I got violently ill. At that moment, I was more afraid of having to explain to anybody what was wrong than of going to the park with a hanger, which is what I did. Can we have her arrested for that? Stevie Nicks, a woman whose sexual proclivities messed up the band that she was in, by the way. Don't worry about that, ma'am. Naya Rivera, never heard of you either, so. Jemima Kirk, another nobody, never heard of you. Kiki Palmer, oh hell, let's take a trip down this bizarro rabbit hole. I was worried about my career responsibilities, not parental responsibilities, career responsibilities. Do you really want to be on this side of the fence with this group of whacked out psychos? And afraid that I could not exist as both a career woman and mother. Didn't say nothing about being a wife, but okay. Twitter is sometimes too flat and too short to express intimate sentiments. Words without context can be very annoying. I am disheartened hearing about the Alabama abortion ban. I feel as if women's rights are going backwards and individual choice is being taken away. I'm truly so confused at the world and the policies that follow. Baby, your whole life shows you're confused about every damn thing. You just need to have a permanent glass of shut the hell up for the rest of your life. The less talking that you do in the presence of other individuals, the better world we'll have. Your lunatic ravings, you're clearly emotionally and mentally screwed up. You need to just go sit somewhere and duct tape your mouth shut for life. I will donate the super glue. Gloria Steinem, one of the arch villains of all time. She played the black women of her generation like a damn fiddle. So many were just eager to line up to get played by white mamas, so the ones who did led to this. But anyway, Toni Braxton, I guess there's a name you weren't looking for. Toni Braxton, you've seen her family and how upside down and wacky they are. What was Toni's story? I felt selfish because I was thinking I'm going through bankruptcy. There are things going on with my life and I can't have this kid. I can't give this kid any future. I was feeling hopeless for no reason. And when I look back at it now, for no reason, what was I thinking? I am not really embarrassed about it. I'm more ashamed of myself for doing that because I could have figured something out financially. That was just an excuse I was making for myself. When I look back at it now, I was feeling hopeless for no reason. Well, the kid's dead now. I often tell myself I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys, but in my head I feel like I have 3 kids. Yeah. Listening to the likes of Gloria Steinem, I thought that having the abortion was supposed to make you happier and better. Now you just realize it's turned you into a monster. Busy Phillips. Okay, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know your story. Just that name, I don't know your story and I ain't trying to figure it out. So forget about it. Well, here we go. Another whacked out broad here, Razonda Thomas, Chili from TLC. Where are her people from? Anyway, I was 20 and my career hadn't really started. And I got pregnant. You don't just get pregnant, ma'am. You want to get pregnant. Wait till you hear the end of this story. How do I do all that? How do I be a mommy? The abortion messed me up. It broke my spirit. The abortion messed me up. It broke my spirit. I felt like I became not my strong self anymore. I felt like I gave in and broke down to what someone else wanted. I cried almost every day for 9 years. That's the definition of depression, people. And then I was caught up. I had to have a baby. I had to fix it. Too late for that now, heifer. And the only way I could fix it was with TLC producer Dallas Austin. I could only have this baby with him because the baby I didn't have was with him. If this is not the definition of an anti-black agenda, then what in the hell is? If this is not the definition of an anti-black agenda, then somebody tell me exactly what is, if this isn't it, if it's something else, if this doesn't constitute destroying your women by destroying their most sacred ability, the ability to give life, and reducing their children, their own genetic legacy, reducing that to a disposable item, then what the hell is? Somebody tell me that. And did any of these women go on to be great wives and be good mothers? Any of them? Hell no. Last stop for the babies. Last stop for you. No wonder the corporations are all jumping in. Folks, when you see this many corporations jumping to get involved in something like this, you know it ain't gonna turn out well for us. You know it won't. And it's not accidental. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. So no, supporting Roe v. Wade is not our concern. That's not our agenda. That ain't what we're here for. I'm not neutral on somebody trying to control and decimate our population numbers. No, it's not you do you. No, no, I'm not going to roll with that. No. If you want to do what you want to do with your body, go get piercings and tattoos. As far as what happens with the next generation, that's not your body. Anybody sitting up here trying to make an argument for destroying the next generation, you and David Duke got a lot in common. I can't roll with you. Me and Margaret Sanger are never going to be on the same side of the street on this issue. I'm not going to go for that. I'm not going for it. And neither should you. The telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. As always, you are welcome to join us. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight. And I know this is a bit of a super heavy subject, but our generation is the one that's changing everything. Our generation is changing everything. We are not the dependable lackeys and flunkies that the civil rights generation was. Let me tell you something else. I welcome this fight. I welcome this fight on every single level. I welcome this because understand something. 10 times out of 10, we're going to win every skirmish. At least 9 times out of 10, we're going to win every skirmish. I don't have a problem at all having these battles. I don't have a problem at all. Let's crank up the number of them. Let's crank up the number because the more regularly we get into these skirmishes and these fights, the more we win. When they get into a situation where they can slow the pace down and slow down how fast we keep clashing with them, they can stall forever. By forcing these issues, we're taking away their ability to stall. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this now. Because let me tell y'all something. If they look up in November and none of this actually changes anything and the Democrats suffered the devastating losses, nothing actually changes. If people got plenty of time between June and November, do you all think anybody's going to give a damn about Roe V Wade in November? Well, you know, my gasoline money is messed up. My income is messed up. You know, my food is all messed up. Hell, Biden wants to give me an abortion. I guess that's his way of saying, hell, you don't need no baby formula. Just abort the kid. What? So Biden has failed to get baby formula. He's telling you he can't get you any more baby formula, but we can get you an abortion. Okay, so you saying you've messed up the game, the supply lines for us to feed the children. So you ain't got to feed them. Just go get them aborted. Just do that. Don't worry about the kids. Just abort them. We're good. That's where we're at now. No, he's looking for us to come to save his ass in November, and we're not. And we're not. The issue was, is, and always will be black empowerment, reparations, end of discussion. And anything that gets in the way of that is an enemy of the people. Let's go ahead and crank up the phone lines here. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Let's get it. Let me get caller from area code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Brother G from New Orleans.
G from New Orleans? What's on your mind?
How you doing? I'm doing fine, brother. I hope you're doing great and great broadcast. I'll try and preface and be brief with my comments because I know you got a lot of calls. I want to ask a question and comment. My question is, do you think that this could be a possible ploy to get the people out to vote for Joe Biden, for the Democrats for November, like this was some scare tactic that the Supreme Court used? And my comment is this: ultimately, what abortion is about is 2 things. It's about population control, and it's about sex without consequences. When the sexual revolution started in the 60s, there was free love. People wanted to do whatever they want to do, and they didn't want any consequences and responsibility from it. I've been reading and studying statistics. Abortion actually is, I believe, the number 1 killer of black Americans in this country. We've aborted almost 20 to 30 million black babies who could have been the first black doctor. We could have had the first black Supreme Court justice before, I don't even consider Barack Obama the first black American president. He's the first African American, but certainly he didn't look out for our community when he was president. And in fact, if you go and look at an old video as it pertains to this, he even said himself, Jason, that he didn't want his daughters punished with a baby if they made a mistake. So he was okay with aborting his own grandchildren. So, that's ultimately what this boils down to. And to watch NBC, CBS, and ABC News and all these people lose their minds, I was just having a field day with it when I was on my broadcast. But
well, definitely the numbers are very damning, and it tells a very clear story. And yes, they're trying to scare black people. We've told them what will encourage us to show up, and every time we tell them what the price of us showing up willingly is, they start bull jiving and playing around. Let's give you a national holiday. Let's give you recognition. Let's give somebody a posthumous war medal. Everything except what we said to do. So the only way you're going to fix their wagon is if they get a good decade of us showing that we're going to stick to our guns. That's what's going to do it. And one of the things that really, really upsets me is them talking about folks protesting in the streets. They trying to make it look like it's the George Floyd situation all over again, and it's not. It's a bunch of kids out on the street for summer. The numbers are nowhere near what they were 2 years ago. Nobody is really concerned about this. It's going to be a bunch of beta males hoping that they can go get some sex with some chick who's had 12 abortions and whatnot. And when she curbs him, then he's going to go red pill or black pill on the internet and go incel and full Elliot Rodgers. But until then, they're going to be out there in the streets making it do what it do. Don't get taken in by it. Don't get taken in and don't get deceived. Let me get caller from area code 843. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
TBA Tobias out of Phoenix.
Tobias out of Phoenix. What's on your mind, brother?
Man, I was just looking at this story and I see on my timeline black folks coming out here with this. See, this is why your vote matters. Go vote. And I'm thinking to myself, haven't you clowns seen the numbers? Black people vote for y'all precious Democrats more than every other group, and it's not even close. Yes, they vote for Democrat more than white women. And when I looked at that, and I saw that ruling, it made me think about how Republicans are not afraid to wield power, and Democrats are afraid to wield power. It's kind of like on Game of Thrones when the Lannisters start storming your gates and you up there trying to say, peace, my brother, here's some bread. It ain't working. Those 3 Supreme Court justices Trump put up there are all 55 years old and younger. You got 20 more years of these people. But I'm not even mad at him doing that. He wasn't mealy-mouthed and trying to please everybody. He put out people who actually is with his ideology. He's not afraid to stack the deck, stack power. These Republicans aren't. And they want to keep blaming black people. They want to keep making Clarence Thomas the face of this. I don't know Clarence Thomas fan. But Trump just appointed a white woman who was all anti-abortion, but these black folks are not coming at her. It's like they are afraid to go at white people, especially white women. They go at black people and they go at the few black men who may vote Republican.
Well, you got to understand the civil rights generation has conditioned the world to believe that we're their damn lapdogs. So they're responding to us, the new generation, the way they did them old niggas. They're responding to us like they can sit up here that their approval is supposed to shake us. Oh, if y'all don't vote the way we want you to, we gonna call you niggas. Okay, that worked on the grandparents and some of the civil rights folk. That don't work on us. You're not going to sit here and bully us and we're just desperate to get your approval. So you notice in some of these white folk, they didn't get the memo. That these bully tactics and these scare tactics, these affirmation tactics, we ain't going to pat you on the head. Dude, I'm not looking for a damn pat on the head. Damn sure not from you. So that's the playbook and the perspective that they see us from. Now, as far as Trump is concerned, Trump just showed you the way you properly exercise power. Him and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell stalled on the Supreme Court until they got a Republican in office. Next thing you know, they ran the damn tables. There's nothing that stopped the Democrats from doing that. So what I'm saying is the Republicans were willing to do that to get a Supreme Court nominee. The Democrats could damn sure do the same damn thing for black folk. So what we're saying is that every time we turn around, it's not that you all don't know how to do this. It's that when you're trying to play a game where you act like, oh, well, don't worry, I'm with you. That mean old Mitch McConnell. No, whatever McConnell did, you can do the same damn thing. You damn sure can. The other thing is they want to make it seem inevitable. How do you break a people's will to fight something? Just make it seem like it's no good, it won't do you any good, that it's inevitable. that nothing you can do can change things. If they want to make that very clear that the black agenda is going to be the agenda and there's nothing you can do to change it, they could make it very clear just like Trump did. The reason that they're not is because, we ain't trying to make that the agenda. And we're just saying, well, you know what? We're just going to sit back. There's not enough bowling ball Martins and old niggas to balance this out. There's not enough anymore. That's why he's sitting over there looking all crazy, because this is supposed to be Roland Martin's time to shine. Roland Martin is supposed to be showing them, hey, we can galvanize the old geezer vote. We can go get them out there. A bunch of octogenarians and septuagenarians whose reproductive organs stopped working back during the gangster rap era. And yet we're going to go sit them out there for Roe V Wade. And let me tell you, Tobias, you got to be a trifling ass old nigga to be going to the polls talking about Roe V Wade. You got what in the hell kind of life you lived? I know I'm saying a lot here, but the previous caller talked about that as well. If I can get you focused on sex, you know what you're not focused on? Empowerment.
Money.
If I can get you focused on sex, if I can get you focused on, we need to fight for what? Well, drugs. We got to legalize marijuana. Okay, well, guess what you're fighting for? You're fighting for marijuana, but guess what you're not fighting for? You're not fighting for black empowerment. Well, we need sex and birth controls and contraceptions. Okay, when y'all get out the damn bed, how many rights you got? When you get back from the abortion clinic, how many rights and protections do you have? So if I can keep you focused on sex, drugs, and rap and roll, then guess what you're not focused on? Black empowerment. That is not coincidental, and it is not accidental. That is the plan. That is by design.
You know what, TVA, and I'll drop these two things and I'm out of here. Don't let these folks scare you talking about Republicans are going to have you in chains. We've been changed since we got here, and it's economic change. If you're the poorest group in this country, you are enslaved. You ain't free because you still got to depend on them for your daily bread. Can't even fund you on HBCU. But all these black people want to, and like I'm just saying from a black perspective, like I said, I'm no fan of Clarence Thomas. Why ain't y'all got the same beef with Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I keep butchering her name. She could have retired when Obama was in office, and they couldn't stall forever because he had a good 3 or 4 years left. She wanted to go on woman, hear me roar, and she bet on the wrong horse in Hillary. See, no one wants to bring that up either. But black people are so afraid of upsetting white people, especially white women. And you saw they up here calling this man every name in the book. They yell at y'all when the guy they don't win. But yet they won't advocate for what empowers us. Just think about that. And, hey, thanks for taking my call. B1, everybody, have a good one.
Black First, as always, thank you very much for checking in with us here tonight. That's the game plan. That's the way it goes. It is not accidental. It is not accidental. None of this is an accident. The only place that is accidental or not happening is in your own mind. But just understand, none of this is by mistake. Let me get caller from area code 973. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
So this is Ronnie. I live in Strawberry, PA.
Okay, Ronnie, you live where?
Strawberry, PA.
Okay, Ronnie, what's on your mind?
Not much. This whole abortion issue, first of all, is a bunch of nonsense. They just want to, first of all, just like you said before, men have no reproductive rights, first of all, but yet they want the man to have the damn check. But yet, as far as his custody, as far as having the kid and everything like that, that's up for debate. It just doesn't work like that, man. And then if you were to turn around and say, well, okay, if it's my choice, then how about we abolish child support throughout the country? They're like, oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, you help make the child. You should want to pay for it. Well, then wait a minute. Then if that's the case, then why don't I have any say about whether my child is born or not? So they want to have it both ways. And at the end of the day,
well, our job is to understand how do these things support us? How do these things help us? Because if it's not moving to empower us, then it's moving to de-empower us. Simple as that. Thank you very much for giving us a call. He's undoing his Happy Meal wrapper. Let me get caller from area code 415. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, my brother Jason. This is Don P. calling from San Francisco.
Don from San Francisco. What's on your mind?
Brother, you devised this channel to edify and educate our people, and I love it. But first, before this plane takes off, I got to get my brother his trophies. If y'all ain't seen the billboard that this man did on his own, he ain't asked none of us for nothing. He just did it. See, that's why he gonna be legendary, because he does stuff in history that matters. And I got to send you a Cash App. I could just imagine what you would do if we all Cash Apped you. You would be on the loose, but you wouldn't be our leader, and we wouldn't want you to be our leader, because we know what happens to leaders. At any rate, let's get this plane up in the air, because you hit a lot of destinations that we're not going to stop on. We just pushing niggas out the airplane with parachutes. So if folks didn't know, the biggest decision wasn't Dred Scott. The biggest decision was Castor versus Johnson back in 1654, 55. That's what ushered in slavery. Castor was an indentured servant, and he and the white boy they were both indentured servants. He ran away. They ran away together. The white boy got a few more years on his contract, but Castor got a perpetual sentence of slavery on him and his family, and that's what kicked that off. But the other thing that you said about the elimination of us, because after they used us, we were the tool, they wanted to break us, and they've been trying to do that for the last 400 years. But folks don't realize their relationships and the way things work. Like you mentioned Margaret Sanger, right? Folks don't realize that Margaret Sanger had a sister, and her sister name was Mary. And Mary married a guy named William. William was friends with Rockefeller. And with Rockefeller, they created that organization. I'm trying to remember the one they created. But at any rate, that's a sideline. William and Margaret had a child. Now, Margaret's maiden name was Sanger. And the little spawn that they produced, the little hellacious spawn they produced, well, he goes by Bill. So that's that on that. You niggas get out the plane. Uber and Lyft, they in San Francisco. Why do you think they're going to support the LGBT community? And I'm going to tell you what, on that list, if Citibank wants to make lives better, eliminate my damn student loans.
Well, if Citibank wants to make lives better, what they can do is invest in what we're doing over here. But what all these folk are doing is they're exposing. They got all the funds that we say, all the stuff they need to, because Wells Fargo has committed so many atrocities. They need to just have a fund set up for us for eternity. But all these folks are really just showing what they really got. I'll let you have the last word.
Give us the money for our reparations, because you owe us that. And we'll remake the 50 Black Wall Streets that y'all destroyed. I wanted to cap on Roland's T-shirt, but, I'll let that be the last word.
It pretty much speaks for itself.
We'll rebuild our Wall Streets.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, Don. Let me get caller from area code 330. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Khalid Muhammad Jr., calling from Akron, Ohio.
All right, Khalid from Akron, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so I have a couple of observations here. The first observation was the Democrats knew what was happening back in 2016. They just didn't want to acquiesce to anything that Black America was asking for. So they knew that multiple Supreme Court justices were ready to tap, RBG being one of them. We asked for specific tangibles. Instead, they gave us Hillary doing a nay-nay and doing a Dougie with roly-poly. And we didn't get anything out of that. And subsequently, we didn't turn out. And, of course, Donald J. Trump got in, and they just overturned Roe v. Wade by the margin of 6-3. And Donald J. Trump put in 3 Supreme Court justices. So folks can do the math there. Another observation is all of these white women just panicking, being upset, crying, acting like the world is over. And the last time I checked, over 53% of white women voted and supported Donald Trump and supported the conservative ideologies of being anti-abortion. So that's
well, you know, I mean, there's the real thing about it, though, is that what they've learned is, look, you're supposed to always keep your issues or your group in the forefront. So it doesn't matter what's happening, whether the issue is coffee or contraception. You're supposed to keep your group at the forefront. You're supposed to keep whatever your group is doing. You change the subject, do whatever you need to do to keep your group and your issue at the forefront of the discussion. So it doesn't matter what's going on. This just gives them another opportunity to be loud. And they've learned how to use that to great effect in the past. It just gives them another opportunity to be loud, especially when you have a media that's complicit in it. Now, with black folk, it's different. With black people, it's different. Remember, they talking about some folks out there doing some protesting. If you'll all remember, Ferguson was on fire for 3 days before CNN, NBC, and the rest of them even started covering it. We were showing pictures of what was happening in Ferguson, right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Ferguson was literally on fire for 3 days. And the cable news media tried to pretend that that wasn't even occurring. If you'll all remember, they ignored the whole thing. We were like, where in the hell is NBC? There's an American city on fire, literally. They got the National Guard. They blocked airspace from traveling over it. And they're not saying anything. I mean, that was Orwellian seeing that. And then you saw it happen again in Baltimore. Baltimore was on fire for almost 3 days before they said anything. And then with George Floyd, Minneapolis was on fire for 2 days before the white media started covering that and saying anything. That's not accidental. So some white women show up at the Supreme Court and you get wall-to-wall coverage, just like when white children get kidnapped. Black folk are out here and stuff can be on fire and they're acting like ain't nothing going on. Think about that for just a few moments. A few white women show up, cameras are on deck. Black folk are out here and a city can be on fire for days and they're acting like ain't no news to report today. Sorry, slow news day. Really? I'll let you have the last word.
Absolutely. And I say let it implode, let it burn down. I want just let the entire liberal system, until they acquiesce to our needs, let it burn down. One last question for you is acknowledging what you just articulated with what the liberals think is going to go down in terms of restricting LGBT marriage and sexual acts, in addition to continuing down this road of Roe v. Wade and other states joining. Do you think that the Democrats heading into 2024 will be willing to come to the table and have in good faith and discuss what it would take for all out?
No.
Or do you think it'll be more?
No. Y'all been asking. No, you all have been asking me that since 2016, and my answer has never changed because I see what they're doing. You see, understand something. Politicians are not reactive. Politicians are proactive, contrary to popular belief. When once it's been made very clear to them what the constituency wants, their job is to be proactive, because what they're trying to do is convince you that they are genuinely on your side of the issue. You can't do that from a reactive pose. You have to do that proactively. So in their case, when you see all of this you don't see any action or reaction. When we see proactive moves, in other words, when we see them do the same damn thing for us they do for everybody else. With Asians, how much ruckus did Asians have to do for the politicians to jump and to snap to attention? How much disruption did the LGBT have to do for the politicians to snap to attention? The politicians were proactive, stuff that the Asians weren't even asking for. They were getting offered stuff that the LGBT hasn't even asked for. The National Park Service making a historic site of the Stonewall Inn. LGBT wasn't asking for all that. But guess what? The politicians are like, oh, no, you don't have to ask. We're proactive. So what I'm telling you all is I know you'll know when they actually are taking us seriously, because everything we're saying, they're going to be fighting to convince us that they believe it more than we do. Now, whether or not they actually do or not is irrelevant. Do what the hell I told you to. I didn't say you have to believe it. I just said you have to do it. So when I see that, then we can start taking them seriously. But until you see that, brother, no, my answer is to y'all. If y'all want to know how I'm predicting it so accurately, folks, when they come to us and talk like us to us and are fighting to convince us that they believe it as much as they do with the LGBT and everything else, then I will start saying, yeah, at what point do they start taking it seriously and start making changes? Right about then. That's when you'll know. When that happens, the answer will be right about now.
Yep. Get ready for lots of tears then and crying and more of the same. So be one, brother. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, it's a test of wills is what it is. This is a test of wills. They want to see if we're going to be like the civil rights generation and if they can buy us off with Biden base pipes and condoms. We already got enough sex going on out here. We're talking about something totally different, some tangibles. That's what we're talking about. Let me get caller from area code 860. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Jason? It's me, Roland from New London, Connecticut. I just wanted to check in. I have a story that kind of parallels to those corporations. One of the jobs.
Okay,
that
give us the Reader's Digest version.
Oh yes, sir. I will give you the Reader's Digest. Long and short of it was, they didn't pay me in 2 weeks. And when I started coming at them about my pay, instead of them cutting the check, they tell me about how they couldn't have this money and this, that, and the third. Hearing how they put these corporations putting their money to other things, it makes you wonder all those other people that they shorted, slighted, and all those other things, and they kept telling them that they didn't have their money was a whole lot of bullshit. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that.
When
and
Jeff
put something on the CashApp.
Thank you very much. When Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk can buy billion-dollar yachts, your company got the money to take care of whatever the employees have to say. Thank you very much for giving us a call. When the owner of the company can go buy a boat that costs $1 billion, or I think it was $100 million, but even if the boat cost $1 billion, he could afford to pay for that too. When they can go off and go buy a boat that costs as much as an office building. Don't let them give you one damn excuse about anything. They ready. Caller from area code 910. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Jazz from Raleigh.
Jasmine, what's on your mind?
Jason, you said something that means so much to me. You said if it's not moving to empower us, then it's moving to de-empower us. And that's so true. I used to be one that said I would never get an abortion myself, but I didn't think that I was someone who could tell other women not to, But over time, I started to look at the why behind my reasoning, and there was no true why, A lot of people say, oh, what about rape victims and incest and medically necessary abortions? And when you actually look at the numbers, those are such a small percentage of actual abortion. And it's just...
And that's not to say that those things don't happen, but when somebody's trying to tell you that an infinitesimally small exception should dictate the rule, they don't do that in any other area or any other aspect of life. So don't just yank something out of your ear to sit up and defend yourself with.
Right. So I definitely agree. And I just had to look back at things and look at the real reason why are they pushing this so hard, And it just, I love everything you're doing, and I love everything you're doing. So that's
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Somebody sent me a picture here talking about Lizzo. That Lizzo commits $1 million to Planned Parenthood. I don't think that big corn dog eating heifer got $1 million. But in any case, Yeah, Lizzo was taking out time from the drive-thru, apparently, to do that. And, oh, Lord, Jennifer caping for white men, Lewis, well after her damn prime. I don't even want to get into that one. I'm hoping that one's a fake story. I hope that's a fake. Jennifer Lewis, go away. Just go away. You missed the last train leaving. Zaddy ain't never gonna pick you up. Now you're just out here trolling humanity. Somebody come get their grandma. Tell Jennifer Lewis, no, we're not having it. Call from area code 618. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is Miriam from East St. Louis, Illinois.
Miriam from East St. Louis, what's on your mind?
Yes. I would like to just respond upon a couple of things. Here in the city of East St. Louis, Illinois, our mayor have did business with other entities, and they're supposed to be bringing hundreds of millions of dollars in projects to East St. Louis to develop housing, as well as, I believe, the riverfront and the waterway. And they also did something with Ameren to get a big solar farm built just off of 59th Street here in state. And I was like, oh, Lord, I'm glad I, just about paid for my, our property, and they're getting ready to gentrify our city. And then I would like to also touch upon the abortion situation. Of course, we have to realize that this is nothing more than white supremacy, as well as the gay agenda. And that gentleman by the name of so-called gentleman of Bill Gates, that was his mother who funded or founded the Planned Parenthood. Yeah, and his granddaddy of the BM computers. They are eugenics. It's all about population control and pushing their agenda. It's nothing new. And of course, they're going to take a handful of people and make it seem like thousands and thousands are taking.
Well, when black folk took to the streets, they told you wasn't nothing happening. A couple of white folk are camped out there, and they're telling you this is the next Million Man March. Get the hell out of here. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight.
Exactly.
Let me get caller from area code 908. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, my name's Omar from Trenton.
Omar from Trenton, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was having a discussion about this on Facebook, and my position was a state of neutrality. I just kind of didn't really feel it was our fight, and a lot of the black women just kind of jumped down my throat and basically said, how could you not this and that, and basically saying if you're putting aside of neutrality, you're working for the oppressor. And I was like, what? Okay, this is getting wild. And he said, well, are you going to vote for Democrats? It's like, why would I do that? I mean, right now, the Democrats can't even agree themselves. They're telling Biden to up the amount of people on the bench. He's not doing it. He said it. They want him to codify Roe v. Wade in the law. He didn't do that. Why would you vote for someone that's basically saying to you they're not going to solve the problem? He's already said he wasn't. What's the problem? Why are you voting?
And that's the entire. Right now, these elections have just turned into an IQ test, basically. They've really just turned into a test of how dumb are you? How gullible are you? He's outright telling you, I can't do. Yeah, gas prices whooping your ass, I can't help you. Food prices making you starve, I can't help you. Can't do nothing for you, but vote for me. Trust me, the days is going to get better. At this point right now, just understand something. News cycles come and news cycles go, and the Supreme Court played this like a fiddle. You're going to release this in the middle of summer. Ain't nobody going to be thinking about Roe V Wade in 48 hours. They're certainly not going to be galvanized in November. It's not going to it doesn't work that way. They're going to have to survive summer and the driving season. Do you think anybody's going to be like, well, I'm really upset about these gas prices, but I'm really mad because I'm 70 years old and can't get an abortion? I mean, if you really think that's what's going to be moving the needle, you're out of touch. You've never seen a revolution started because some chick couldn't take a coat hanger to an infant. Revolutions start when the people are hungry. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. When the people don't have their basic needs met, that's when the revolutions begin. Not because somebody wasn't able to toss the kid into a mop bucket. Caller from area code 901. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, I'm Jay from Queens.
Jay from Queens, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to call in. Man, I've been listening for a minute. Everybody's on fire. Everybody's on fire tonight. Everybody's riled up. I love it. But I wanted to speak on like the abortion thing. I'm gonna keep it super short. When I was in high school, right? Fast forward. By the age of 18, I knew at least 4 or 5, like definitely knew 4 or 5, 18, like underage women that had abortions, right? So I go to college and I have no health insurance. So this girl, she's like, go to Planned Parenthood. You can, I'm like, yo, I need to take an STD test or whatever, because I'm sexually active. She's like, you can go to Planned Parenthood and, you know, you can get a STD test for free. So the only thing I know about Planned Parenthood is like abortions there and like gay people with AIDS there. So I show up. The first time I was in the lobby, I'm like 19, 20. I see nothing but 14, 15, 13-year-old. Because if you know, maybe people don't know about Planned Parenthood, but the main thing about Planned Parenthood, what the news don't say is, if you're underage, we can treat you medically and we will not tell your parents. So that's the main thing. It's a lot of girls at 14, 15, 16,
yeah,
17
but
years old.
Notice where that went to, though. Because at first they told you, you all remember this became a slippery slope. First they told you, well, hand over your daughters. And your daughters should be able to come and talk to some white folk at Planned Parenthood without talking to you. And what happens to your daughter is some white folk at Planned Parenthood. Next thing you know, who piggybacked off of that rationale that your daughters can have things happen to them and that the state can know and some private organization approved by the state, they can know, but even the parents don't know. And that becomes a bigger issue involved there. Thank you very much for giving us a call here, Jay. What happens then, now the LGBT piggybacked off of that. Well, we should be able to approach your children in school. We should be able to approach your children at reading time. We should be able to send drag queens. We should be able to indoctrinate your children and groom them without your parents' approval. We should be able to start changing their gender, giving them drugs that change the same drugs that they use, by the way, to chemically castrate people. The same drugs that they use to chemically castrate people, they now want to use on your sons to convince them that they are actually girls. The same drugs that courts use to punish pedophiles to chemically castrate them, they now want to use them on your sons. And it started with that, well, your daughters can come to us and get an abortion without you knowing. Now it's, well, your kids can get contraception, your kids can get chemically castrated, your kids can begin transitioning their gender, and we don't have to tell you that either. So if you think that abortion is just limited to one dimension and one avenue, no, it's not. If you want to make for those of you who are parents, biological parents of children, if you want to know a straight line from abortion to superseding your rights to your children, with some teachers talking to them about, you may really be gay. You're probably really trans, is what you really are. We need to talk about that in class today. And then you get home and just find out what they were talking about. If you ever do. If you ever do, because they're not required to tell you. So what I just did was demonstrate to you there's a straight line between those two things. It's not a crooked line. Direct line between abortion, the strategy for abortion, and the strategy for sexually deviating your children. Caller from area code 229. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening. My name is Rod. I'm calling from Valdosta, Georgia.
Rod from Valdosta, what's on your mind?
Yes. First, I was that guy on the other end of Chili's story. I've had that done to me. And she did try to make up for it, but you can never make up for that. That's one. Two, my body, my choice. When you get a child inside you, that's no longer your body. This is supposed to be a Christianity country. I wonder what your God got to say about that.
Well, you know, when it's time for child support, when it's time for child support, it's never your body, your choice.
Yeah. And last but not least, I heard former First Lady Michelle say, we cannot afford to sit out this election. I say we're the only ones that can afford to sit out this election. Thank you. I appreciate your time, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Look here, and unless you got something on the ballot for us, there's sit out the election. You ain't gave us a reason to stand up, ma'am. I put up on Twitter, her and her husband sat there and officiated over the slaughter of black folk from sea to shining sea. Never prosecuted anybody. Dylan Roof was the only one who was actually punished for something, so he's got to sit up here and kill a dozen people and then say, yep, I sure did do it, would do it again, and I can't wait to get executed. Daniel Pentalio still walking the streets. Darren Wilson still walking the streets. George Zimmerman still walking the streets. And Michelle Obama wants to try to fool the world into thinking she's somehow concerned about black folk. Ma'am, your damn track record is too damn dirty in the streets. Get the hell out of here. Caller from area code 424. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Jason? This is Rob from Rob's Ranch, out of Houston.
Rob out of Houston, what's on your mind?
Everything you're saying, I absolutely agree. I've been talking to different friends of mine and cats that I knew back in college about this entire issue. And my question I've always had about this abortion issue is, how has it impacted the black community positively? How has it? Abortion has been around for about 60 years, and our community has steadily gotten worse and worse. There's more single black mothers walking around, which there has to be some correlation between that and abortion. A lot of women I've talked to who are single mothers, they've had abortions at some point in their lives. I've talked to many women that I went to school with, and many kids that I've taught that have had abortions, and they've lived promiscuous lives. And it seems as if that this whole issue of abortion has given so many people an opportunity just to get their freak on and not be productive in terms of trying to create any sort of family. So I asked the question, how has this positively impacted the black community? And I don't see any reason or rationale how it has positively impacted us.
Not positively. So what they do is they keep coming up with new strategies. On the one hand, take a look at the drug issue. On the one hand, they hammered the black community with drugs and mass incarcerated people. Now, quote, legalizing it so that we can mass narcosize people. So you have a white supremacy always takes both sides of an issue. We can use drugs to illegally and lock you up, or we can spread drugs to everybody, and either which way it goes, we dominate you. So you are dealing with a diabolical group of individuals who are constantly using Machiavellian arts in order to wrap you up in a trick bag with literally every turn. And the only winning move is to choose your direction for yourself. The only winning move is to be self-determining. You can't let them hand you a menu and tell you, okay, you can choose an item off the menu. Your job is to say, no, the item I want isn't on your menu. You're going to serve it up, but the item that I want is not on your menu. I'm going to give you the menu, and you're going to fix what I want you to have. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 612. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. Good evening. This is George from Minnesota.
George, out of Minnesota. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, but I have two observations. One, my take is this. If you look across the country, you will see that most of those Planned Parenthoods were implanted in black neighborhoods. And then they implanted a fertility clinic in white neighborhoods. And their strategy was to slow down the black population. That was the intent. But what they finally realized was that most of the people who were using those Planned Parenthoods were white women. So in the game didn't work. It's just like you eating up a poison or you set a trap and it catches you and you cannot scream. You just hold your mouth and you sit quiet. So they have been fighting. You hear them talking about pro-life rights. No, it is not for for us. It's for them, the white women. That's why they are the ones that are out there. But they all use the black faces for degeneracy, but they are the ones benefiting from below. That's the first observation. Secondly, what I'm saying is this: this gender changing. Now, those people are making multi-billion-dollar business behind it. That is the next go-to. They are already scared because the system is going to cut through that and stop that confusion that they are creating on children from childhood. 4 or 5 years. Children from 4 or 5 years, what do you know about sexuality? They go and they create a confusion, and they have been trying to spread it into the system. So now those people who are making that business behind that gender transfer or gender confusion, they know that that's the next target that they're coming after. Those are the two observations that I have. Thanks, Jason, for your good work, and I'll just let you continue the program.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, George. And you certainly make some very good points there, that they put abortion clinics in the black community and put fertility clinics in the white community. That tells you everything that you need to know. And then what you do is you have your strategy of targeting the children. I've always taught you all white supremacy believes in targeting your children. So targeting your children's sexuality. Let's see if we can get involved in your children's reproduction. Let us get involved in everything is a negative aspect. Everything's negative. They want to talk to your children about abortion, so they won't have any children. They want to talk to your children about LGBT, so they won't have any children. Everything is about them intercepting you, interfering with your children so that they can sit up here and say, hey, tell that next generation they don't really need to be having any kids. They need to focus on something else. Focus on weed. Hell, focus on crack cocaine. We'll even get you free base pipes. Focus on LGBT. Focus on everything except having children. You need to worry about your career. You need to worry about your degree. You need to be thinking about that. They're talking that to 7 and 8 year olds. You need to worry about your career and your degree. Don't worry about having children. Don't worry about that. We already got plenty of people out here. You can adopt or something else later. And of course, black folk are the ones they don't want to adopt children to. They'll take your black children and adopt them to white folk. And meanwhile, black folk are sitting over here like, okay, when are you going to hand us some of those kids? Let me get caller from area code 757. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 757 has been abducted. Caller from area code 301. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Jason?
Yes, you're on. Wake up. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, this is Roz. This is Roz from the DMV. I'm from DC. How are you doing tonight, brother?
All right, Roz, what's on your mind?
Okay, I wanted to make a point here that one of the things, this is talking more to the sisters, that I'm tired of seeing on the news where they're parading the sisters out there and they're showing them as the head of the protest for abortion, but they don't put the mic in front of us for reparations. That's one of the things I've seen in the news, okay? And the other thing I wanted to say is we need to be focused and we need to get our 2A game up, because people are not doing what that brother George had just called in and said. They're doing just that. They're putting the abortion clinics in our areas and they're putting the fertility clinics in the white areas. So they realize, and I was listening to Brother Tariq about a month ago, and he had Richard Spencer on. And when Richard Spencer said, yeah, we know that we're lacking, and as far as white people are lacking in the births, and they know that they're down in childbirth. So that's something people have to keep in mind. They're doing all of this for a reason with the Supreme Court, because they want their birth numbers to rise. So I'll say that, and thank you for.
Well, if you'll remember, in my documentary film a few years ago, I talked to Richard Spencer also in my documentary film Race War. And I really wanted to get down to the nitty gritty so that you all understand the stuff that I'm saying isn't conjecture. I showed it to you directly from the source. And it wasn't Jason Black who said it. It was Richard Spencer who confirmed what I've always told you, that Richard just led into it naturally on his own when I was talking about white population numbers dropping. And then he said, and that's not a good thing. However, we've been a resilient people, and, there is a precedent for white people ruling as a minority. Throughout history, you've had large groups of people led by a small group of very powerful men. So what he was describing was apartheid, South Africa, without using the words South Africa. He was describing the apartheid strategy. So population numbers for them, just understand, as long as their major concern is being in charge of economies. Because I want you all to understand something. You got majority black cities that have white mayors. Ron Duggan in Detroit, Mitch Landrieu in New Orleans. This is in the modern era. You had a bunch of black mayors, and then here comes Mitch Landrieu after Hurricane Katrina. In Detroit, you had a bunch of black mayors. Here comes Ron Duggan after the city files bankruptcy. And Atlanta is starting to skew back in that direction also. So these folks have perfected the arts of having majority black populations that they're in charge of. Majority black populations that they rule. So just understand how they see it. As long as they're in control of the economy, they can steer the control and the agenda. Now, sometimes they want a white person in place, but to be totally honest, they've made more progress with black folk in charge in these places by using black front people than they ever did with white folk in charge. Think about it from that perspective. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 312. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Jason Black? This is Dave from Chicago.
Okay, Dane from Chicago, what's on your mind?
I was going to touch on about the abortion, so I just now started listening not too long ago. I never supported abortion, and I don't trust a woman who had got an abortion, and any dude that sit here and say that he cool with getting an abortion, then that tells a lot about him too. So that's my take on that. And so far as with the why they overturned the Roe versus Wade, because of the white population down there, that's definitely true. They've been saying that for the last 30, 40 years, and at first, when I first read some articles about that, I really didn't understand it, what they mean by they have a doubt about their birth rate being down, and then I guess when I was listening to Rick, he kind of broke that down. Like, man, you look at some of these prisons, like a lot of the CEOs is not young white folks. You see a bunch of old white dudes, and I'm like, damn, that's actually true. Because I remember when I was in prison, you didn't have no young whites correction officer. You see a bunch of old ass white men. And even if you drive on anything outside of Chicago, like in these little small hick towns, or you especially take a drive down there in Indiana. Indiana's right next door. It's actually been whole towns in Indiana of white folks just literally dying off, like literally just drop dead out of nowhere. Even though the white media is never going to report that. So, that's my take on it.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 703. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Brother Jason. This is Shahid out of Alexandria, Virginia.
Shahid out of Alexandria, Virginia. What's on your mind?
Brother Jason, this is my thing with the ruling and abortion and all that stuff and whatnot. Brothers and whatnot, man, have broken down. It's like this. White women, don't understand this. The white man is trying to get them to stop killing their babies because, like you said, the numbers, are way down, have always been down, since the beginning. When they were, making, Irish, Italians, Jews, already white people. And now today and whatnot, you have foreigners, South America, from the Middle East, some African countries and whatnot. They can put down white. They are the minority in this country. They've always been. And it's sad to say and whatnot that our women are trying to keep pace with her on, who's going to get on the abortion table, faster. And it's ridiculous.
Because they're not doing it because they're not doing it for the same reasons. That's the real problem. It would be different if black women and white women were doing it for the same reasons. They're doing it for two totally separate reasons. A white woman can go off and champion abortion and never actually have one. Or she can go off and go get it and she's still going to get benefits. There's no benefit to black folk for doing that. Also, white women, as I've always said, this isn't a battle of white women trying to overturn white supremacy. They're trying to wrest the reins of control from white men, but they're really just fighting over who holds the knife to carve up the white supremacist cake. Neither of them is trying to destroy the system. Neither.
Brother Jason, I totally agree with you. You know what I'm saying? And B1, brother.
Black First, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 929. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is Daryl from Chicago.
Daryl from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Jason, another on-point broadcast as always. You hit the nail right on the head. I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And I just wanted to add this one little tidbit, and that once we not come to vote, because they're really thinking that we are, and we're not coming to vote, those politicians that are in place that allowed those situations to come in neighborhoods, those black politicians in those neighborhoods that allowed the Planned Parenthood, the abortion clinics, and a couple other things that came in the neighborhood as well. And that's part of that trick bag as well. And the bottom line is that apparently they must be thinking that we're joking about the reparations, about putting things back to, giving us back our land, and about putting us in our economic standing where we're supposed to be. They think we're joking with them. We're not. And they're going to find it out this next election. P1.
Black First, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. And certainly, like I say, I told you all this from the day that Biden got into office. I said it from the very beginning that he's going to spend the next 4 years trying to change the subject. Every time you find him, you're going to be saying, hey, what about that reparations? And he's going to tell you, I got something else to take care of. Illegals, Del Rio, Texas, Ukraine, LGBT, back to illegals again. Ooh, look, Roe V Wade, Asian hate crime, COVID coming, gasoline. Every time you turn around, he's going to be trying to change the subject. I told you this wasn't going to stop. Every time we talk to him, he's going to be telling you, I got something else to take care of. I can't put your issue on the front burner. Always got something else to do. And it's like, okay, dude, it's your reelection, not ours. It's your reelection, not ours. You think we playing with you. We're not the civil rights generation. We're the real damn thing. Caller from area code 828. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, this is me, man. My name is Aaron. I'm calling out of Morganton, North Carolina.
All right, Aaron, what's on your mind?
So listen, I'm watching this, and I'm saying to myself, this looks like the same play that they did like in the 60s and 70s, where they fractured like the black movement, and what they did was they used female rights as like the bigger issue for black women to actually pay attention to. So what I'm thinking is that Biden is, because they asked him and said, Biden, what are you going to do about the whole Roe V Wade situation? He said, well, we just got to get people to vote harder. So I'm thinking the game plan is that they're going to try to fracture, because there's like a fake gender war going on. I'm thinking what they're trying to do is they're going to try to use that fake gender war to splinter the black vote, to have black women vote, basically to take the Democrats all over again by using Roe v. Wade. Because they see how on code we are with reparations and, wanting to get a hate crime bill going on. So I just feel like they're just using this as a distraction. Just want to see if you saw the same thing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's in their best interest to do that. So they're throwing everything at the damn wall to see what sticks. So absolutely, this is all part of the plan. Everything is going to be a new excuse. It's going to be a new issue every time you turn around. Just basically, their whole thing is to flood the zone with any other issue. So what are they going to tell you now? Now they're going to tell black folk, we can't do anything for you. Look, this election, we understand. I can hear it now.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Biden, when we got elected, well, you all have to wait for the Latinos. Y'all got to work with them. When we show up this time, it's midterms. Hey, what you going to do for us? Well, right now, I know you've been waiting, and I know you've been hanging in. We really need you to show up now. I mean, look, there's a bigger issue. Last time, you told us the last time the pandemic was the biggest issue. Yeah, well, now is Roe v. Wade. We got to get that took care of. Roe v. Wade's the biggest. Look, when we get this Roe v. Come out and support us when we get this Roe v. Wade taken care of. After that, then we can see about the rest of what you're talking about. That's what it's always going to be. If you accept people's excuses, and all you're ever going to get are excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I peeped. I was just like, man, this feels like the 60s and 70s. They're trying to say, well, forget about the black power black woman. What about female rights? And so they're trying to go for the whole, black girl magic. The black woman saved us again from saved this election again. So I'm just like, wow, they're really trying to run the same bag all over again?
Yes, it's always the same playbook. That's what we've been saying. It never changes.
Always.
The operatives they use is a different face, but it is the exact same strategy. Thank you very much for giving us a call. That's why it's so damn atrocious to fall for it. It's not like they're just repackaging the same damn product. They're repackaging the same damn product. It's Oreo cookies. It says Oreo on the outside. This time it's in a white bag instead of a blue bag. Same damn cookie. Call from area code 405. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Kathy, calling from Birmingham, Alabama.
Kathy from Birmingham. What's on your mind?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your brilliance and your courage, and we appreciate all that you do. What I'd like to say is that these evil people who are in cloak and dagger behind these abortions, they're eating our children. They are performing satanic sacrifices, and they're harvesting our black babies. And most of these women have no idea of all the demonic activities that take place during these abortion times. And I just want to say, we as a people and a country who support abortion, we're going to be judged by God himself, and judgment is real for the participation and the murder of innocent blood. That's all I have to say.
Well,
we will be judged.
I would like to see the women judging each other. Better than God doing it, I'd like to see the women start holding each other accountable and saying that this is not our identity, that we're ashamed of this, and this is that we are better than this. Thank you very much for giving us a call. She's absolutely correct, too, by the way. These babies that they keep aborting and stuff, they cop to the stem cells. Now, that was the one that they copped to. They copped to the stem cells. I think for some of these vaccines, they were taking genetic material from these aborted fetuses for that. They cop to the stem cells, but what they don't want to cop to is the organ harvesting. Now, that's the part they don't want to cop to. But the truth of the matter is, yeah, that's happening also. The truth of the matter is, that's happening also. They're harvesting organs too. They're harvesting organs too. Let me get caller from area code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is William. I'm calling from Maywood, Illinois.
All right, William from Maywood, Illinois. What's on your mind?
Thank you for another brilliant broadcast, Jason. But, listening to you, it really, with the callers and listening to the conversation, again, like you said, it's the same old playbook. And this is about power and control. With Biden talking about he can't do anything about the gas prices or the food prices, they believe in collateral damage. Like I said, they play both sides of the fence, because those who are prosperous, they can pay the $6 a gallon for the gas. So they don't care. So that'll distract, again, like I said, distract them again for we don't have the money for the reparations. So you guys are really cool to be begging for reparations, and everybody else is suffering. It's it's the same old playbook. It's another one of their distractions.
Yeah, when we show up, it's going to be the sob story. When we show up, there's always a new... There's always a new excuse. There's always a new agenda. There's always, some emergency is happening. Asian hate crimes can't do nothing for you right now. LGBT can't do nothing for you right now. Illegal aliens can't do nothing for you right now. Look, Roe v Wade can't do nothing for you right now. COVID's back. New Omicron, Unicron, Dexicron can't do nothing for you right now. And that's the part that we're done with. Thank you very much for giving us a call. That's why our political discourse has changed. We ain't taking no damn excuses. Don't tell me about the Ukraine. Don't tell me about COVID. Remember when the pandemic started, there were folk who were upset with me. There were people who were upset with me when the pandemic started. And I would not compromise. I said, yes, I heard that there's a new bug going around, that there's some new sickness going around, and people are getting sick and people are getting ill, and they're trying to figure out, should we close down this city or close down that city? And I know a lot of folks are saying, Jason, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, pass me my Hall's cough drops and my Theraflu and my heated blanket and cut my damn check. That's what you gonna do. I don't want to hear any damn excuses. Don't tell me about no damn viruses. Cut the damn check. The agenda hasn't changed. There's a pandemic. We've been living in a pandemic now for 500 years. Cut the damn check. No, I don't give a damn what's happening. Anything from zombies to UFOs on Flatbush Avenue. I'm not talking about nothing else. Cut the damn check. You're not going to sit up here and play this game where every time we turn around, something else came up. I don't give a damn. Well, the earth is being invaded by aliens right now. It's like Independence Day. I think you need to hurry up and cut that check before the aliens wipe us out. I think you need to cut that check faster. If the aliens are going to wipe us out, man, look, you got to double time that check now. You got to triple time it. You got to hurry up now. Can't you see that Mars Attacks is walking down Main Avenue? You got to hurry up and cut the check now. I'm not changing the damn discussion on nothing. Nothing. Don't ask me to support. Don't ask me to show up. Don't ask me to do a damn thing. I already told you the only thing that's going to mobilize me. There is no other agenda. There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to discuss. For real, for real. There's nothing else to discuss. I'll be like Will Smith in the bathroom in I Am Legend. Hand me my shotgun. Tell your kids come over here. I'll pay them $5 to help me board up some steel over these windows. We're gonna put up some floodlights outside tomorrow night. So I need you boys to come back over here and tell Joe Biden cut my damn check. Yeah. Zombie apocalypse. I got it. Cut my check. Got to have it. You let me worry about the zombies. You let me worry about them. You need to worry about breaking my bread. As a matter of fact, if you hurry up and cut the check, I can buy more shotgun shells. I can get more shotgun shells if you cut the check. What were they doing in the movie? Pouring gasoline on them? I can buy more gasoline at these high-ass prices to light the zombies up. If you cut my damn bread, I need to have it. And then go line up Bank of America and YouTube and Amazon and Netflix and the rest of them. Tell them they got to break something off too, as a matter of fact. So I can handle the zombie apocalypse if I got the resources. Brad Pitt can do it, you damn right I can do it. I can handle the zombie apocalypse if I got the resources. I'll show you how to get it done. But in the meantime, oh hell no, we ain't changing no discussion. Nothing. Jason, there's an asteroid coming to Earth. Does it have my check on it? It doesn't? Okay, well, all right. It's going to wipe out life. Ooh, you might have a point there. Still need my check. Well, sir, we all going to be gone, though. No, you need to cut my check just in case it doesn't wipe us all out. Just in case it don't wipe us all out, I need to make sure them dollars are with me just in case. I got a feeling we're going to wake up and we're all still going to be here. But just in case, if we're not, I'll deal with that then. But just in case, I'm going to need that money no matter what happens. That's the damn agenda. Don't bring me any Hollywood celebrities. A bunch of worn out, run through, ragged out, tattered hoes who've never done anything productive in their lives. Don't bring none of that to me. That's not on the agenda. Empowerment's the only thing on the agenda, to the strict exclusion of literally everything else. There's nothing else on the agenda. Joe Biden thinks he's going to change the subject. Boy, I know he was thinking right now, thank the Lord, I needed you to hand me something we can change the subject with. Buddy, this isn't going to change your fortunes between now and November. This isn't going to change your fortunes. Tell CNN they can have a damn field day talking about this all they want to. In 7 days, we won't be discussing this anymore either. Back to business as usual. It is what it is. Incidents come and go. Our agenda is eternal. Our interests are eternal. And that's never going to change. Period. So don't sit up here and tell me about what the Supreme Court has done. I've been watching the Supreme Court violate black people's rights forever. Don't tell me about the Supreme Court talking about some contrived rights that don't even exist. I'm talking about rights that black folk actually have, given by God. And the Supreme Court has not protected those. Don't sit up here and try to change the damn subject. You're not going to insult my intelligence in that way. So somebody tell Uncle Joe Biden, I know you're desperate and you wish you could change the subject. Yeah, that ain't going to work either. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up for you all here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Over 142,000 subscribers and rising. We are not a little thing. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every weekend. Also, take a look at my other YouTube channel, TBA. You definitely want to be signed up for that one as well. That's my backup channel. And I'm probably going to start using that again here in a little bit. Depending on how things go, I need to make sure I put some new content on there so they don't try to turn the channel off. But definitely you want to make sure that you are keeping track of that as well. And I want to thank you all for joining us here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp. Thank you very much for your support as well. And if you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and on Amazon. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is our only agenda.